Well, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to a wonderful day in Melbourne for a very important cause. I should let you know that there was a time when decent Australian citizens simply asked their governments to do good. Today we are forced to hold public rallies to demand that they stop doing evil. A pox on their houses. Now, Donald Horne said that we were the lucky country, and Bob Hawke said he wanted us to become the clever country. Sadly, we are increasingly being known around the world as the poor country, and politicians like Barnett and O'Farrell want us to become the stupid country. You see, the oceans are dying in our time. By 2048, all our fisheries will be dead, the lungs and the arteries of the earth, poisoned by the fishing and meat and dairy industries. On this basis, it means that no child under the age of 10 will ever reach retirement age, if that doesn't send a chill down your spine. And today, the ocean animals are being starved, poisoned, and king-hit from all sides. Factory farms spew chemicals into the oceans, creating hypoxic dead zones of 1 million square kilometres, killing plants, coral, and ocean animals. The ocean bed today is a moonscape, becoming a toxic soup of acid. And we humans treat the ocean as a private pantry and as a public toilet. The Pacific gyre now is so full of plastic, junk and human feces, it has created a floating footprint bigger than India. Trillions of fish are ground up into pellets to feed to livestock. Vegetarian cows are now the world's largest ocean predators. And necklaces of long lines, some of them 100 kilometres long, now strangle the globe with 10 billion steel hooks, killing dolphins, albatrosses and turtles. And dolphins and whales are stabbed to death in the shallows of Fiji and the Faroe Islands, and huge bays are blood red. 10 million sharks are torn from the sea, their fins are hacked off, and they're thrown overboard to die agonizing deaths for a shark fin soup. I'm sure most of you know that sharks have been around for over 400 million years. That's twice as long as the dinosaurs. And human beings have been around for less than 100,000 years. And we, a jumped up, arrogant, mammalian, reptilian-brained, biped Johnny-come-lately, who just happens to have an opposable thumb, will wipe out these prehistoric giants in one generation. And we want to kill more sharks. More people are killed by jellyfish, falling out of bed, vending machines falling on them, playing golf, eating hot dogs, or having sex, and all the sharks in the world put together. So I wonder if Mr. Barnett is going to hire contractors armed with guns to invade your privacy and supervise these activities as well. Is he going to turn Western Australia into a nanny state of numbskulls? Even his own West Australian Department of Fisheries website says this very clearly. Despite their appearance and man-eating reputation, sharks seldom cause harm to humans. Their presence as apex predators, occupying the very top level of the food web, is actually an indication of a healthy marine environment, testimony to their environmental importance. And this man wants to kill them. But Barnacle Barnett and his fellow ignoramus Flotsam O'Farrell of New South Wales calls it culling. Let me tell you that culling is a systematic, controlled management of a population for its own good. For example, where it has exhausted its own natural food resources. That is culling. What these troglodyte politicians are doing is killing, not culling. And in fact, it is even worse, much worse. They are committing murder on innocent animals to score a few cheap dog whistle political points. It is political assassination. If you ever saw these politicians in a fish and chip shop, you would have no difficulty working out who is the real flake. Ladies and gentlemen, the barbarians are no longer at the gate. They are sitting in our parliaments, and we are picking up the tab for them. Most people remember their first love. I remember my first hate. It was hatred of animal cruelty, and that hatred has grown exponentially over the years. In human history, only 100 billion human beings have ever lived. Only 7 billion people are alive today. And yet we humans torture and kill 2 billion sentient living beings every week. We stab and suffocate to death 1 billion ocean animals every 3 hours. 10,000 entire species are wiped out every year because of the actions of one species. We are killing species before we have even met them. And we now face the 6th mass extinction in cosmological history. Believe me, if any other organism did this, a biologist would call it a bloody virus. It is a crime of unimaginable proportions. Just remember those numbers. 2 billion land animals every week and 1 billion ocean animals every 3 hours at the hands of this biped species with an opposable thumb. Now, Trix and I support hundreds of projects in many countries around the world. And people have seen our work on land, met the people, and touched the structures. What nobody knows about our marine animal protection programs. Against, for example, drift netting, long lining, whaling, shark finning, plastic and sewage dumping, dead zones, and agricultural runoff. So why are they invisible? Because like all atrocities, the ocean is out of sight and out of mind. Today we're focusing on the sharks, but the same applies for the bluefin tuna, the cod, the salmon, the whales, the turtle, and all the other animals who live in the ocean, where human beings originally came from in the first place. And everyone here should know that our governments are wiping out entire fish populations like a plague, open cutting and clear felling the ocean bed like the meat and dairy industry did to our forests. And now they are trashing the Great Barrier Reef. What a crime on our watch and in our name. And the dynamics are asymmetric. More ships, bigger capacities, larger freezers, spotter planes, solar technology, toxic chemicals, richer consumers, bigger appetites, and dirtier governments. Versus fewer fish, powerless creatures, poisoned oceans, sicker animals, unimaginable suffering, fractured food chains, and extinct species. Believe me when I tell you this, we are entering the new dark ages. And Australia today is now considered a backward country by other nations such as Costa Rica, Bolivia, Colombia, Ecuador, Peru, Paraguay, and El Salvador. I recently brought Will Potter out to Australia on a speaking tour where he discussed his book, Green is the New Red. And he described the draconian measures being taken by governments and big industries and the rest of their cronies, where in the United States, activists are being imprisoned for handing out flyers on street corners or taking pictures on a cell phone from a public road. And the same laws are now being proposed in Australia by the very same industries that brought us rabbits, foxes, European carp, cane toads, camels, cancer, and cruelty. And if that is not enough, deforestation, climate change, and the world's worst record of species extinction. Take a bow, our politicians. So any politicians who kills an innocent animal must be consigned to the garbage dump of history. He is either blind or a coward, ignorant or deliberately obtuse. Let him choose. Such a man clearly lacks the spine to be a wise leader or the character to be a loyal follower. He may only be trusted to the extent that his political interests coincide with the truth, which is to say that he may not be trusted at all. So Barnett and O'Farrell have the same jurisprudence as the Queen in Alice in Wonderland. Sentence first, trial later. Their strategies are based on ready, fire, aim. Knee-jerk reactions for dummies. And their policies are supported, to use Lenin's term, as a rope supports a hanging man. So I call on every one of you here today to get organized, get mobilized, get active. Do it today. As soon as this rally is over, meet in a huddle, work together. Set up new NGOs or work with existing ones to protect Australia's animals and our environment. Shut down every grubby business that exploits these animals. And please remember, I'm not some weird lefty bunny-hugging greenie. I happen to be a merchant banker. I'm talking from the other side of the fence. It's time for all of us to show a bit of courage in the face of this adversity. Sitting on the fence is for cowards and crows. So let's remember, our first job is to stop this ridiculous killing of sharks in West Australia and then the East Coast. And in the process, let's fire every politician who supports this or any other atrocity. So ladies and gentlemen, I call upon each and every one of you to please join the battle in a war we cannot afford to lose. Thank you all for being here.